The United States has over 500,000 man-made dams. These dams block many of the waterways within our nation, and while they provide clean power, they may be just as harmful to the environment as other forms of gathering energy. After all, nothing is without consequence. These dams block the waterways which fish use to travel. This can lead to the fish not being able to reach the areas which they lay eggs, as well as not being able to reach the areas in which they feed. This, of course, can lead to the fish having lower populations or even going extinct entirely. However, this does not only negatively affect the fish. Any one or thing that relies on the fish to eat or provide for a family unit is negatively affected. Beyond that, anyone who lives in the area of the dam is forced to relocate to some other place. While this may not seem like a big deal to those who don't live in the area near the dam, this is a major deal for all those who live in the area, as they may not have the money to move. The United States is working on dam removal programs. These programs remove dams that it deems harmful. Harmful dams force families to relocate, possibly into harmful or dangerous areas, as well as negatively affect the environment. These negative effects on the environment could be anything from the extinction of a species to pollution. Interestingly enough, large dams are also associated with an increase in waterborne illnesses. Dams are also associated with an increase in mosquito-borne illnesses, as mosquitoes can now repopulate in the stagnant water. Waterborne illnesses caused by dams include schistosomosis, which is an acute and chronic parasitic disease caused by blood flukes of the genus Schistosomosa. At least 251.4 million people required preventive treatment in 2021 for schistosomosis. Signs and symptoms of schistosomosis include fever, chills, coughing, muscle aches, anemia or a lack of red blood cells, malnutrition, and learning difficulties. You can also develop chronic symptoms if you do not treat the infection. Another disease, more common in areas with a large dam, is encephalitis, which is an inflammation of the brain. It can be caused by viral or bacterial infections and is spread through mosquitoes. Stagnant water in dams will allow mosquitoes to breed in that area more frequently, which will give rise to more encephalitis or brain inflammation. Symptoms of encephalitis may include, but are not limited to, headache, fever, aches in muscles or joints, and fatigue. These are typically followed by much more serious symptoms, such as a stiff neck, confusion, agitation, hallucinations, seizures, loss of feeling or being unable to move your body in certain areas, irregular movements, muscle weakness, trouble with speech or hearing, and loss of consciousness, including comas. If untreated, this can be fatal. Areas with large dams will also see an increase in gastroenteritis, also known as the stomach flu. Symptoms of the stomach flu can include watery, non-bloody diarrhea. If it's bloody diarrhea, that means you have something different and probably a more serious infection. Nausea, vomiting, or both, stomach cramps and pains, occasional muscle aches or headaches, and a low-grade fever. Depending on the cause of the stomach flu, the symptoms may appear within 1 to 3 days after you're infected and can range from mild to severe. Symptoms usually last just a day or two, but occasionally may last up to 2 weeks. This isn't even everything that dams can give you. This is just a short overview of some of the worst ones. They can also cause malaria, hemorrhagic fevers, intestinal parasites, and more. This doesn't just affect the people who live at the dam, it also affects the people up and downstream of it. Thousands of dams no longer serve a viable purpose or provide significant benefit. Many have exceeded the average life expectancy of a dam, and as a result have become structurally unsound and unsafe to the public, and would require repairs to bring them into compliance with both state and federal safety regulations. All the repairs are the responsibility of the owners, and the owners often decide that they would rather remove the dam than repair it due to both legal and financial liabilities of a dam. Fortunately, there are several ways to remove a dam. The chosen method will depend on many factors, such as the size and type of dam, the amount of sediment behind the dam, the aquatic environment below the dam, who owns the dam, what their priorities are, and the time frame of dam removal. These methods include the notch and release approach, which is commonly used because of ecological benefits. It is a slow method in which the reservoir is drained through notches cut into the dam. New notches are cut in so that water drains out of the reservoir at a consistent flow. The sediment trapped behind the dam flows downstream in a fixed rate that allows for the ecosystem to adjust to the changes. This method can take a few months or even over a year, but has proven to be successful with restoring fish species to rivers. Another type of dam removal is rapid release approach. The rapid release approach is the quickest and least expensive way to remove a dam, but comes with significant drawbacks. In this approach, a large tunnel is dug through the base of the dam and then connected to the reservoir. The entire body of water will drain through this tunnel in a matter of minutes or hours, and the massive release of water and sediment can cause severe flooding and erosion along rivers downstream for miles. This can devastate the ecosystem along the river, as well as dangerously scour bridge pilings, burn pipes, levees, and other infrastructure. However, if the reservoir is held by the dam, if the reservoir is held back by the dam, it is relatively small and quickly drains into a larger river or lake. This approach can be carried out with minimal impact on the ecosystem as well as human infrastructure. Another method of dam removal is the dig and dewater approach. The dig and dewater approach is typically the most expensive dam removal method, but is necessary in some cases. It entails emptying the entire reservoir, allowing the sediment to dry, and then transporting it to a safe location for disposal. It is costly and slow, but if the reservoir is located near hydroelectric generating that would be greatly impacted by released sediments, it may be necessary. Another situation where it may be necessary is if the sediments behind the dam contain toxins. Hauling them away and disposing of them safely is important for the ecological health of the river. The retained sediment approach is the final commonly used approach and involves leaving sediment behind where it is. To do this, the river or creek must be rerouted around the dam site, which can prove expensive and challenging. This may be carried out in places where the dig and dewater approach makes sense, but are too remote to be cost effective. Interestingly, I don't know if it's actually gonna. Is it picking up what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm gonna restart because I don't know. Okay, here's the CDC. They should have actual signs and symptoms of schistosomosis include anemia or a lack of red blood cells, malnutrition, and learning difficulties. This can literally cause learning disabilities. Yeah, dams might be more of a problem than I thought. The eggs cause inflammation or scarring when traveling to the intestine, liver, or bladder. Because it's a parasite, so of course it's going to lay eggs in you. These dam removal options include the notch and release These dam removal options include the notch and release. This is definitely going into the bloopers because I've messed it up 3 times already. The entire body of water will drain through this tunnel in a matter of minutes or hours, and the massive release of water and sediment can cause severe flooding and erosion along rivers downstream for miles. This can devastate the ecosystem along the river as well as dangerously scour village pillings. Oh, that's bridge pillings.